blast of cold air is about to sweep across much of the nation. Not only is this going to completely obliterate any of those summer vibes you were hoping for, it will also set the stage for severe thunderstorms and potential tornadoes. In this video, I'm going to go through the forecast day by day so you can know exactly what to expect. Starting on Tuesday, where it's going to be downright chilly in the north and the east and somewhat toasty in the central U.S. We're talking lows below freezing across much of Pennsylvania and Ohio on Tuesday morning, and even way down into the 20s up here in Wisconsin and Minnesota. All the while, we're topping out in the 90s down here across southwestern Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas during the day on Tuesday. This warmth will be one of the things that sets the stage for severe weather as a huge blast of cold air starts charging in from the north and west towards the middle of the week. But before that happens, the warmth is going to spread farther inland and create some pretty nice weather across the majority of the U.S. on Wednesday. Just look at this giant bubble of spring to summertime temperatures across the bottom right quadrant of the U.S. Temperatures may approach 100 degrees near Wichita Falls on Wednesday afternoon. And while all this heat is building up, the cold blast is going to start coming down from the north and west. This eventual clashing of very hot and cool air will cause thunderstorms on Wednesday from Texas all the way up to Iowa. The strongest storms as of now look like they're going to happen between Kansas and Iowa during the heating of the day. This is why we have an elevated risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center during this time period. Right now, it kind of looks like more of an isolated threat, but some of these storms could be on the very strong side with damaging winds and hail. And I would not rule out a tornado or two either, as this looks like one of the first chaseable plane setups in a while if a storm can burst through the cap and remain discreet. And as the approaching cold air starts to settle in across the Pacific Northwest, we will see some snow showers through the Cascades and down into the Rockies on Wednesday as our dynamic system starts coming together. And those dynamics are going to be in full display on Thursday, as everything will be coming together to ultimately bring heavy snow to parts of the north and severe weather for parts of the Midwest and South Central U.S. That's right, more snow up here in Minnesota, as the leading edge of this major sweeping cold blast will be marching over you right as the storm system decides to also dump a bunch of Gulf of Mexico moisture on you. It's really too early to talk about snow totals just yet, but I would not be surprised at all to see some additional 6-inch totals up here by the time we get to Friday. And the cold air is going to be really digging down on the backside of this system. Check out the 20 to 30 degree below average temperatures overflowing the Canadian border into the U.S. on Wednesday afternoon. And then over here in the Ohio Valley, we're close to 15 to 20 degrees above average. And once again, it's this big contrast between temperatures that's going to allow for severe weather to happen. At the moment, however, the severe risk does look to be a little bit more on the hail and wind side rather than the danger noodle side. How do I know that? Well, if you've watched my streams before, you've probably heard me talk about the curved noodles. The scientific term for these noodle doodles is the hodograph. These plots essentially show you how the wind speed is changing with height. The longer they are, the more the wind speeds up as you go higher up in the atmosphere. And the more curved they are, the more turning there is with height. This is what I'm talking about when you hear me say wind shear. Tornadoes need wind shear to do their thing. Therefore, we look for these curved hodographs to try and forecast them. Or I guess I should say we look for curved noodles. And curved noodles are more likely to produce danger noodles. But on Thursday, the noodles are looking pretty daggone straight. This could mean that there's not going to be much of a tornado threat. At least we can hope that's what it means. I mean, we can't rule them out completely, but we can expect less of them if there is going to be less wind shear in place like the models are currently suggesting. Regardless, the storms that form are going to be strong. Damaging winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour will be the main threat. And you throw some of that thunder boomer juice in there, or this convective available potential energy, and we're also going to see a significant hail risk, with hail definitely larger than golf balls possible. Now, with all that being said, we are definitely still far enough out from this event happening that things could still change. And of course, if the tornado threat is upgraded, I'm going to be right here live on YouTube for 10, 12, 14 hours straight, whatever it takes, just in case you need me. So all you got to do is slap the subscribe button, turn on notifications right now to make sure you're alerted if that happens. Now, after that, the weekend looks downright dog water for most of us, as the big cold blast will have officially made its push by Friday. And during the day on Friday, there's going to be another chance for severe weather down here in the deep south as the cold front moves through. But once again, this is mainly a hail and wind threat, and I'll keep you updated if that changes. Once that gets out of here though, this blast of cold air will lock us into a much colder pattern through the beginning of next week. And the Climate Prediction Center agrees with me here. Just look look at this map. We're talking about just nasty cold for the next 6 to 10 days in and around the Great Lakes region and the Ohio Valley, and it's just going to be annoyingly cooler down here for pretty much everyone else except for those of us in the Southwest and Florida. On top of that, we're going to have several rounds of heavy rain possible, especially across the South and the Southeast, as moisture from the Gulf of Mexico will be blocked off in its northern ascent and yeeted directly east. This could lead to some pretty significant flooding issues, so watch out for that. The good news is, for now, I don't see anything that screams tornado outbreak in the near future, especially after these couple of severe weather threats we have in the short term, so I am very happy about that. It is still severe weather season though, so it's important to be hyper weather aware at all times. You've probably heard me talk about NOAA weather radios before, and I personally believe that these things are the best tools to help you actually be hyper weather aware. NOAA weather radios are like little smoke detectors, but for tornadoes, severe storms, and flash floods. You put some batteries in there, you plug it into the wall, and you do some simple programming, and this thing is going to holler at you anytime there's a warning for your area. This is great for nighttime storms because you can sleep soundly knowing that it's going to wake you up if you need to be woken up. And they work even if the internet and the power is out, and even if cell service is gone. I've got these things on my website, shopryanhall.com. There's a link at the top of the description, and Austin is in the warehouse right now awaiting your orders. You will not regret getting one of these, I promise. Just the peace of mind alone is worth it. Make sure you go get one, and that's all I have for you today. That's all the weather talk I have for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Super huge shout out to all of our new members. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.